Sure. So the Bellwood Lift Station is located on the north side of Lake Bellwood, and it collects sewer from the drainage basin and then pumps it over the hill to a point where it can flow via gravity. And so what we've done is we've taken a detailed look at the topography and the layout of that area, and our consultant KSA has determined that there is a new alignment for a gravity line to run that will not require the sewer to be pumped. So the lift station will no longer be actively pumping the sewer up over the hill that it previously was. We're going to be taking a slightly different alignment to achieve gravity flow. And that's going to eliminate the lift station from our system, which is going to reduce operations and maintenance costs and a lot of other benefits that us as a department and the city is going to see.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so I know in your presentation you said that the lift station is currently at max capacity. What does that mean?
So the pumps and the wet well that the lift station is comprised of, they're only so big they can only pump so much sewer. So the pumps run nearly full time, right, which means that they're running day and night. So they are very close to being maxed out. And so by upgrading this lift station, or really by abandoning the lift station and upsizing the gravity line, we're planning for future development. We're taking care of a capacity constraint that the system is currently seeing also.
Okay, and the gravity main replacement is going to be, what, about 10,000 feet of pipe?
Yep, just less than 10,000 feet of 30-inch ductile iron pipe.
Okay, and what is the timeline for the project?
So we're anticipating design to take 7 months. So that'll put us around the beginning of 2025 for us to be bidding and awarding this project. And construction is anticipated to be 18 months.
So but not until 2025.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the construction will begin after design is complete.
Okay, and at some point in your presentation, $14.1 million was thrown out. What was that in reference to?
So that's the pre-engineering cost estimate for the construction portion of this project, is the $14.1 million.
So this is a very big project. That's a lot of money.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, can you talk to me a little bit about how development, urban expansion was factored into the proposal for the new gravity pipes?
Sure. So like we talked about earlier, the existing lift station is near maximum capacity with how things are right now. So regardless of development that's happening in the area, we really need to address that capacity constraint. So with knowing that, that's when we started looking at replacing the lift station, replacing the pumps, replacing the force main, and upsizing all of that, or abandoning the lift station and replacing it with a gravity line. And the cost difference in that is only about $1 million. So regardless, we were going to have to go into this area and we were going to have to upgrade our infrastructure. How we're doing it is we're going to spend a little bit more money at the front end of this, but we're going to reduce our operations cost for the life cycle of this line for years to come.
Okay. And you're using an existing right-of-way, so you don't have to go through that whole process, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And what is going to happen with the Bellwood Lift Station once construction starts?
So when construction starts, the Bellwood Lift Station is going to still be in operation. Once construction is complete and the tie-ins can be made and the receiving gravity network system has been upsized as well, that's when we can plug the pipes coming into it and abandon the location.
And is it just does it get raised to the ground? What happens to that?
The current lift station is it's not very noticeable. The wet well is underground, and there's we call it a doghouse pump station. It kind of looks like a doghouse that's over the pumps. So it's really not an eyesore. So we're gonna remove all above ground items, but everything else will just be plugged and remain in place.
Okay. Let's move to the Shackleford Lift Station, and this is more an improvements project, right? Not necessarily a full-on replacement situation. So can you just talk to me about what this project includes?
Sure. So the Shackleford Lift Station is located on the south side of Tyler. It's located just south of Cumberland, kind of behind Academy. And the original design for the Shackleford had all the electrical components in the same building as the wet well is. And so those components are now exposed to H2S gas that is going to be corroding the elements of that electrical equipment. So we've seen that over the years. We've had problems with it over the years. And so what we're doing in this project is we're taking all that electrical equipment, we're putting it into a new prefabricated building that's outside of the wet well. It's not going to be exposed to that sewer gas. We're also going to be installing a flood prevention wall. The area is prone to flooding during rain events, and this wall is going to take care of that so that the creek is not impeding into the building and into the structure. We're also going to be doing some HVAC improvements in the existing building, and then we're going to be installing odor control at that location as well.
Okay, couple questions. I know a council member brought up and asked why would that electrical equipment have been put in the wet well in the first place? And I know you didn't have necessarily a clear answer, but is there any sort of hint as to why that would have happened?
So the Shackleford Lift Station is configured a little bit differently than some of our other ones. The lift station itself is actually a large building, and the wet well is underground, and then there's pumps inside that building, and then the electrical equipment is also inside that building. We see a lot of lift stations where it's open to the atmosphere, and so it's just a little bit different setup with that large building that houses all of the equipment. And the electrical equipment is not right next to the pumps. It's not right next to the wet wells. It's in a separate room, but still in the same structure. And so that's where it sees the exposure.
Okay. With regards to the flood prevention wall, did we see a larger need for something like that after the storms that we've had in the past month?
This has been an ongoing problem at this location for years. So we did get a lot of rain, and we saw an impact to the system, but we were already planning on flood prevention far in advance of the severe storms that we recently saw.
The odor control, what's the purpose of that? I know it probably has an obvious answer, but.
So the odor control portion of this project will just help to minimize and reduce the amount of H2S that escapes from the wet well, and that's the just unpleasant smell that you smell near infrastructure like this.
Okay. Let's see. So when does the project start? What's the timeline looking like?
So we're anticipating to get notice to proceed to the contractor probably towards the end of this summer, I think around August, and then they're estimated to take 8 months to complete this.
And how will this affect residents?
Residents will see no impact to their service of sewer in the area.
Okay. And the project costs over like 1.3 million?
Yep.
Somewhere in there, right?
Yep, 1.3 million.